All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I like to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, or Kakodash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity, and unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayat the elect house of David that are scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations, okay? It's going to be Sunday evening camp. Lord willing, that I be edifying to the body and to those that are new coming in, listening and learning with all sincerity. So, I'm going to get started. So, we're going to go into the signs of the end, man. And, you know, it just seems like a whole lot of you just really can't see what's really going on. And it's, Yahweh Bashem Yashai puts these signs right in our face. And if you're not being circumspect, you're not gonna see it, you're not gonna understand. But ultimately, the Lord doesn't want you to understand. He wants you to bug out, and He's gonna eventually destroy you. That's just how it is. The Lord is only looking for a small, select few. But as for everyone else, it really doesn't matter to Him. All right, I'm gonna start off with the book of Matthew. This is going to be the book of Matthew, chapter 16, starting at verse, and I said this, I brought out this precept in my last video, camp video. Salaki, give me a second. Salaki on that. The wind was blowing my poster boards away. But so we're gonna go ahead and get into camp here. So I brought this script out in my last camp video, Matthew chapter 16. Let me go back to it. Okay, Matthew 16 verse 1. And it says, let me get there, and it says, the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. So again, people wanted proof that Yahweh Shai was the son of Yahweh. And going down, it says, verse 2, and he answered, said unto them, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. Verse 3, and in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. And remember, when you look at the word lowering in the blue letter, it goes to detestable or hated. That means, talking about that dreadful day. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but ye cannot discern the signs of the times. Okay, and that's the problem with a lot of people, especially Israel, that you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and the speckled bird, whose father's line goes back to the nation of Israel. You know, you can see and understand everything else, but you can't understand and see the sign. You can't discern and understand the signs of the times that Yahweh Bashem Yashai is throwing right in your face. In verse 4, it says, a wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he left them and departed, okay? So a wicked and adulterous generation, that's the generation that we're living in, where wickedness is at an all-time high. And people have no respect for one another. People are just downright freaking wicked and abominable. You know, this place is, wickedness has reached up into the heavens, you know? This is why the Lord's got to take this place out. All right? Now we're going to go to the book of Joel. Going to be Joel chapter 1, starting at verse 18. And it says, how do the beasts groan? The herds of cattle are perplexed because they have no pasture. Yeah, the flocks of the sheep are made desolate. All right, in verse 19, it said, O Lord, to thee will I cry, for the fire hath devoured the pastures of the wilderness, and the flame hath burnt all the trees of the field. Verse 20, the beasts of the field cry also unto thee, for the rivers of water are dried up, and the fire hath devoured the pastures of the wilderness. Okay, so these are verse 18 through 20 are twofold scripts. So people can be likened unto beasts, okay, because look at how we act, you know, doing these abominable things. We are pretty much beasts in the Lord's eyes. We're not clean, we're filthy. But at the same time, this also goes into the animals of the earth as well, because even they're in mourning, okay? They know that the world is sick. They know that nothing is natural anymore. And, you know, and the flocks, the sheep are made desolate, you know, because they have no shepherd to lead them. And, you know, Israel, the remnant is likened, you know, Israel is likened unto a flock. But we, you know, we don't have a flock of sheep. And without our shepherd, we're made desolate, man. And, you know, that pastor is talking about the green, the lush green in life, and just the lush green feel, like the grass, the plants, the trees, you know. It's all being taken away. And summer's right around the corner, so it's about to get real hot. And, you know, the waters are drying up, you know, the Colorado River, you know, Lake Mead out here, and other places of the world, man. Yahweh Shem Shai is making this place desolate. He's going to turn this place into a desolate wilderness where nothing will thrive here anymore. And Lord willing that we are kind of worthy to escape the judgment. Okay, I'm going to go to Matthew again. This is going to be Matthew 24. Book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse... Matthew chapter 24, verse 1. And it says, and Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. Verse 2, and Yahushua said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Verse 3, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? Verse 4, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. Verse 5, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. Verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, you know, of course, of what we know with China, Russia, and, you know, America. You know, all these other countries are gearing up for war. Japan, Germany, Iran, North Korea. And a lot of these other countries are turning their back on America because they know that America is a joke. Japan did it. Brazil. Even France, Germany. You know, these other heathen nations, they're starting to realize that this whore is the problem. America, aka Babylon. This bitch is the problem. All right. Now it's saying, okay, verse 6, and ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So, you know, World War III, the third woe, we're just in the beginning stages of it. We haven't seen anything yet, and they're already talking about how they got Chinese nationalists that are gonna make their way, that are in Central America right now, trying to make their way into invade America. So, you know, China, they're, you know, these heathens, man, they're ready for battle. You know, and let's see what else. You know, and you got China buying up land constantly. Same thing with Russia. All right, this is gonna be and also another thing too, Pakistan, you know, their power grid's down, so they're left in the dark. So, you know, if this is happening over there, you know, it's soon to come here. Europe is in a complete clusterfuck. Verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. Okay, famine. There are already a lot of countries that are experiencing food shortages. You know, they're not able to feed their families, not even feed themselves. And you got pestilence, you know, diseases are on the rise. You know, STDs is at an all-time high, and you got new viruses, infections, and diseases coming out. And it's supposed to be a new scheme-demic that's coming real soon. All right. And earthquakes in diverse places. Yeah, there's earthquakes in supposedly active volcanoes, storms, fearful sights, all these things going on. And, you know, the Lord is just tearing this place down. You know, you had a few storms in parts of Louisiana, Florida, Alabama. Gosh, I can't remember where exactly else, but they're all over. That just goes to show you that the Lord is he's performing that work. In verse 8, and it says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay? So Yahweh Shem Shai is bringing down the mirth. He's going to turn this whole place, you know, not just America, but the whole world, other nations, into, you know, they're going to be in a state of mourning. You know, they're not going to have anything. It's just going to be all out slaughter and survival. All right, this is going to be, I'm going to go to Amos. I'm going to look at Amos chapter 9. Amos chapter 8. This is Amos chapter 8. I'm going to start at verse 8. It says, shall not the land tremble for this? And everyone mourn that dwelleth therein. And it shall rise up wholly as a flood. And it shall be cast out and drowned as by the flood of Egypt. Okay? Shall not the land tremble? Shall not the people be afraid? Okay? And, yeah, everyone is going to be in a state of mourning. Because look what happened back in Egypt, you know. If you go through the history, Egypt went through the same hell, but this hell is going to be a hell of a lot worse. Verse 9, and it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai, that I will cause the sun to go down at noon, and I will darken the earth in the clear day. Verse 10, and I will turn your feast into mourning, and all your songs into lamentation, and I will bring up sackcloth upon all loins, and baldness upon every head, and I will make it as the mourning of an only son, and the end thereof as a bitter day. So people are going to be, like, their pride and all this mirth and ignorance, you know, Yahweh Shem Shai is going to, he's going to terrify the hell out of people and bring them down low to a humble estate where they're going to be, you know, they're not going to be thinking about having fun anymore. They're not going to be thinking about partying with friends. They're not going to be thinking about, you know, family get-togethers or, you know, vacations or flights or cruises or any of that stuff. People are going to be lost in the sauce, you know, they're going to be terrified. anguish, despair. Okay? You got to really think about that. I mean, yeah, sure, people are in despair right now because of what's going on, but we haven't seen anything yet. This is just the beginning. All right. Verse 11, and it says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst of water, but of hearing of the words of the Lord." So, yes, there is going to be a physical famine of food and resources, but there's also going to be a famine of this. So, what are you going to do when you can no longer hear, the prophet's videos? What are you going to do when you can no longer hear the truth getting out? When they shut the internet down? Because, it was rumored that this summer that there was going to be blackouts. What are you going to do when you have no internet, running water, nothing works in the house because it's all electrical? What are you going to do when it's a complete blackout? People, not like anything electronic is not going to be working. All right. And also, let's see, verse 12, "And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it." Yeah, because once this truth is gone, man, that's it. Whatever you know, or whatever you think you just have to roll with it and hope and pray that the Lord's going to see to it that you make it through the hell. And even if you find a prophet out there in the midst of, of all hell breaking loose, you're going to be like, "Oh, there he is right there. He has the answers." Motherfucker, we're not going to tell you shit. The Lord's going to have our tongue cleave to the rooftop of our mouth. We ain't going to tell you shit. You should have listened when you had the chance. Going back to Amos, Salakia. Amos chapter 8 and verse 13. Okay, this is verse 13. So it says, "In that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst." So young men and women, they're going to be fainting for thirst. They're going to be, thirst as in substance. They're going to be wandering to and fro, just trying to do what they got to do. And hell, there's a lot of people doing that now. People are going through it. All right, I'm going to go back to Joel. It's going to be chapter 2. Skipped it. Joel chapter 2, verse number 28. And it says, "And it shall come to pass after that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions." Okay? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai right now is visiting the world which he had made. Casting out that judgment. People are, having visions, horrible nightmares of, a lot of death, a lot of despair. People are actually having these dreams. And shoot, you can go on one of the social media platforms and people will tell you of what they dreamt, and they'll tell you that we're coming into a time, as the scripture said, a time like never before. Verse 29, "And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit." Verse 30, "And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke." Okay? Blood, fire, and pillars of smoke. So, mass death, those ICBMs, those intercontinental ballistic missiles, those nukes. And it says here in verse 3, when the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord. Okay, and we had a blood moon a few months back, back in the last year, I think. So these are signs, man. You got to pay attention to these signs. These are the signs where you know we're at the end of this current society, this current era. Okay, it has to be taken out in order for the next one to come in, which is Jacob. You know, Lord willing that we are, you know, that would be on the first go around. Verse 32, and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord hath said, and in the remnant, the 1/3, the elect, the 144,000, and the multitude of men, women, and children, whom the Lord shall call. Okay? Let's see. This is going to be Zechariah. Okay, so this is going to be and before I'm going to get a little precept here. This is going to be Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 1. And it says, woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city. Verse 2, she obeyed not the voice, she received not the correction, she trusted not in the Lord, she drew not near to her power. Her princes within her are roaring lions, her judges are even wolves, they gnaw not the bones till the morrow. If you really think about it, it's twofold, because the oppressing city is Babylon. Excuse me. Verse 2, she obeyed not the voice, she received not correction, she trusted not in the Lord, and she drew not near to her power. That's also talking about Israel too, because we didn't. Because we followed after the ways of the heathen. Her princes within her are roaring lions, very boastful and proud. Her judges are even wolves, you know, lying and deceitful, doing backhand deals, untrustworthy. They rather screw over the defendant or the plaintiff just to get that money. They gnaw not the bones till the morrow. Okay. All right, so yeah, all the corruption, you know. This just goes to show you just exactly what kind of time that we're living in, and it's only going to get worse. Nothing is going to get better here. This place is not for us. That's why, you know, the scriptures say, roughly paraphrasing, come out of her, my people. That's not like that doesn't mean like a physical movement, but more like a spiritual one. Just leave behind these ways, man. This is going to be Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. Slack it, let me get it. Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8, and it says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. Verse 9, and I will bring the third part through the fire, and I will refine them as silver is refined, and I will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my power. Okay? The true Israel is the elect. Okay? That's why they said there's going to be an Israel within Israel. Okay, and the elect they're going to be the ones that are going to know that true joy and to everlasting joy. And while the 2/3, they're going to die on this side and be reborn in the kingdom, and they're going to be brought to everlasting contempt. They're going to be shamefaced. And they're going to remember what they did in their life here in Babylon back then. They're going to realize that they were wicked and they didn't listen. All right, this is going to be, let's see. Ecclesiastes. Excuse me. Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 17. And it says, "And I gave my heart to know wisdom, and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this is also vexation of spirit." Verse 18. "For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow." So yes, the more you know about the truth and what's going on, man, the more you're not going to be you're going to be more in a state of mourning and not in mirth, because you know what's going on and you know it's about to happen. It's nothing good. It is nothing good. That's why it's like, you say that we're all doom and gloom. Yeah, we are, because we're living in a time of war. This is not a time where you can be, trying to prosper or have a future. This is not the time for that. This is a time for getting right with Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and hoping and praying that we are accounted worthy to escape the said perils, man. This is not a time to be trying to, try to set up a future here, have a good job, a good car, a good house, have a good woman or a husband, start a family. No, this is not the time for that. Okay, and this is going to prove that. This is going to be, I'm going to go up, actually, before I get that next script. This is Ecclesiastes. I'm going to go up. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 14. It says, "I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit." Yes, all of this bullshit in the society is vanity. It's nothing. It accumulates nothing. It doesn't get you anywhere. It amounts to nothing. It's pointless. And it is vexation of spirit, because we're under a bullshit system where it's a no-win situation for us. Verse 15, "That which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered." Okay? This place is crooked and it cannot be made straight. The only thing that can be done about it is to destroy it. And you find people wanting, it can't be numbered, because people are just, like I said, people are in a state of poor and neediness. And that's why everybody's starting to turn on America now, because America does nothing but take and take and take and take. They never give or anything in return. They just keep taking. That's why people are fed up with this place. All right, I'm gonna get Daniel chapter 12. Daniel chapter 12, verse 8. No, Slakia. Daniel 12 and 4. Sorry. Slakia. Daniel 12 and 4. And it says, Daniel 12 and 4. "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." Okay? And the truth is getting out more and more day after day after day. On the social media platforms that, you have people showing this is what's happening, showing this and that. And you do your own research, of course. And you start to realize, thus you start to realize that something is not right. Something's fucked up. And this place is fucked up. Okay? You got, I mean, you know, this all that's going on right now, you you can't tell me that, you know, that you can't tell me that everything's going to be okay or everything's going to be all right, because it's not. All right, I'm going to get Wisdom of Solomon. It's going to be chapter 6. Chapter 6, verse 1. And it says, "Hear therefore, O ye kings, and understand, learn ye that be judges of the ends of the earth." Verse 2, "Give ear, you that rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations. For power is given you of the Lord, and sovereignty from the highest, who shall try your works and search out your counsels." Okay? "Because being ministers of his kingdom, you have not judged aright, nor kept the law, nor walked after the counsel of the Most High." Okay? Verse 5, "Horribly and speedily shall he come upon you, for a sharp judgment shall be to them that be in high places." Verse 6, "For mercy will soon pardon the meanest, but mighty men shall be mightily tormented." Okay, so they're talking about Israel. Okay, so verse 2, it says, "Give ear, you that rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations." Verse 3, "For the power is given you of the Lord, and sovereignty from the highest, who shall try your works and search out your counsels." Okay, because being ministers of his kingdom, you have not judged aright, nor kept the law, nor walked after his counsel, after the counsel of the power. Okay, you know, those wicked ass Israelites that do not their works are going to be tried, and their counsel will be searched out to see if they are tried and true. Okay, and also not only that, but you could also see this as a twofold, because for power is given you of the Lord, and sovereignty from the highest, who shall try your works and search out your counsels. Okay, and like I said, I'm gonna go back to verse 1. Hear therefore, O ye kings, and understand, learn ye that be judges of the ends of the earth." Verse 2, "Give ear, that you rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations." Okay, so if you think about it, the people that are up in rulership right now, they Slakia on that. But you know, "Horribly and speedily shall he come upon you, for a sharp judgment shall be to them that be in high places." Okay, all of those people, especially the wicked Israelites that be teaching the wrong doctrine, you know, they be in high places chasing the bag, you know, making merchandise of this truth, you know, giving that are selling out to that 501c3. You know, it's you know, the Lord is gonna bring down a harsh judgment upon them. You know, "You've not judged aright, nor kept the law," because they like to change things, and the Lord says that, you know, you shall not add nor take from this book. All right, and it says here, okay, let me get Sirach chapter 12. We're living in a time where you have people that take this word, whether they are Israelites or heathen, and they try to flip the script to fit their own needs and their own agendas. And you know, you're not supposed to do that. So the Lord is gonna torment them for that, because you can't, because the Lord is not a man that he should lie, and then people are trying to change his word, and you know, trying to change this truth into a lie. Sirach chapter 12, starting from the top. Let me see here. Salakia. Actually, I'm gonna start at verse 6. "For the Most High hateth sinners, and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly, and keep them against the mighty day of their punishment." Verse 7. So the Lord hateth sinners all across the board, and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly and keep them against the mighty day of judgment. So he's reserving them for that evil time. In verse 7, give unto the good and help not the sinner. Okay? Give unto the good, those that are meek, lowly, and sincere. And just keep away from those that don't adhere to the word. In verse 8, a friend cannot be known in prosperity, and an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity. Okay, so a friend cannot be known in prosperity because anybody could be your friend in a time of peace. Anybody could act all nice and kind, but you know, they always have their motives, their own secret motives. That's why you really cannot trust nobody. Okay, the time when you can really know when someone has your back is when it's in a time of trouble. Like, who's really looking out for you? Who's got your back? Who actually is going to give a shit? And an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity because in that time of tribulation, you're gonna know who's against you and who isn't. All right, I got a couple precepts here. I'm gonna get the book of Haggai. Book of Haggai. Bear with me for a second. Haggai chapter 1, verse 10. And it says, let's see. I'm gonna start at verse 7. Haggai 1 and 7. It says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways, which means think about how you conduct yourself in your deeds and what you do. Excuse me. Verse 8, go up to the mountain and bring wood and build the house, and I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, saith the Lord. Build the house, build that spiritual temple, the body, the house of David. 9, ye looked for much, and lo, it came to little. And when ye brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why, saith the Lord of hosts, because of mine house that is waste, ye run every man into his own house. Verse 10, for the heaven over you is stayed from dew, and the earth is stayed from the fruit. Okay? Verse 11, and I called for a drought upon the land, upon the mountains, and upon the corn, and upon the new wine, and upon the oil, and upon that which the ground bringeth forth, and upon men, and upon cattle, and upon all the labor of the hands. Okay? That's talking about that famine. Okay? Taking away the resources. And, the Lord's, he's withholding the rain so the earth can't, produce the crops. And, and you see that now. You've been seeing that from the past couple years, since 2019 all up till now, how a lot of the resources are getting cut. And these summers have just been blazing hot, where they've been drying up the waters, crops dying or being eaten away by locusts. That right there's telling you that he's making this place desolate. There's not going to be nothing to grow here anymore. Okay? Let's see, okay, let me get, Isaiah, Isaiah chapter 24, verse, 3. It says, the land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord hath spoken this word. Verse 4, the earth mourneth and fadeth away, and the world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. pride will cease and humility will increase. Okay? People are not going to think, people are going to soon realize that they're not all that, like they thought they were. Okay? And they're going to be in a state of panic, despair, terror, because they're going to lose everything. And you know what happens when people got nothing to lose, they're going to do whatever it takes. Verse 5, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken under the everlasting covenant. Yeah, so the whole world is defiled, not just physically with, GMOs and chemicals, and the air being polluted with that chemtrails, which is really sulfuric acid, and these freaking towers, these internet towers, 5G towers that give off radiation, and amongst other things. And like he said, the earth is defiled because look at the state of the world that it's in. Oil spills in the ocean. The plants, the animals, the fishes are dying because those chemical spills, oil spills. And you got new creatures that are appearing and showing up. Creatures that we've never seen or heard of before. All right. Verse 6, therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. Verse 7, the new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, and all the merry-hearted do sigh. Verse 8, the mirth of tabrets, a tabret is like a drum, I think. The mirth of tabrets ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoiceth endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. Okay? So, like I said, there's not going to be any more mirth, no more celebrations, no more of these wicked-ass pagan days. Yahweh Shem Shai is going to clean house, and by having a mass slaughter. And these philosophies that people keep coming up with to try to help the planet do right in society, and besides, like, the way they do things, it's not really helping at all. All it's doing is just making things worse. It was never about the left or the right or pronouns. They're not going to do anything about gun control because, one, people need guns need these weapons to defend themselves, and yet you have criminals who can get their hands on weapons and start going crazy. They're literally making it to where people are not seeing a point to keep on living. There's really no future here. Nothing. All right. Let me see. Let me go back to Amos. Amos chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord hath not done it? Once again. Okay, so shall a trumpet be blown in the city, the people not be afraid? And shall evil be in the city, and the Lord hath not done it? Like, when you excuse me. when these catastrophic events happen, don't you think that, you know, you don't think that this is the Lord's doing? In fact, Isaiah chapter 45, Isaiah 45 and 7, and it says, Isaiah 45 and 7, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So there you go. Everything that is going on right now with the mass death of animals, people, and all these, and destruction to civilization, like these hurricanes, tornadoes, tsunamis, active volcanoes erupting from underwater, causing these tsunamis, and all this other stuff that's going on in the world, you know, this is the Lord's doing, man. Ultimately, it's Him that's bringing this place, excuse me, allergies, but He's, you know, He's gonna make the whole world go through that fire, that tribulation. Okay, everybody's gonna go through it. Even the elect are gonna go through some shit. But the Lord's gonna see to it that they make it. But, you know, if you're not of the elect, oh well, goodbye. Let me get 1 Timothy here and I'm gonna close out. This is gonna be the book of 1 Timothy. First Timothy chapter 3. 1 Timothy chapter 3. Never mind, that was the wrong one. Start 1 Timothy chapter 4, and it says, verse 1, starting from the top. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly, that in latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. So if you're not rooted in this truth, if you're not fully persuaded in your mind that this is the truth, you're gonna bug out, you're gonna fall out, you know, turn away from this truth, ultimately turn away from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and you're gonna go back into the world doing what you were doing earlier, being a nigga and doing stupid shit, and eventually end up getting yourself destroyed. Verse 2, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. Okay? And you have your conscience seared with a hot iron, meaning that there's nothing you can do. Even when you speak the truth and you prove it to them right to their face, you're not going to deter them from the poison of this world, man. This world is nothing but poison. Okay? And that's all this place is nothing but poison. Let's see. It's 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter. Yeah, here we go. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. And it says, thus this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For verse 2, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemous, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unruly, unholy. Verse 3, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. Verse 4, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure, more than lovers of the power. Verse 5, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. Okay? And you're seeing that, and you see that now. You've been seeing it. People are just looking out for number one. Who can get to the top? Who can be number one? Who's going to be the one that's going to stand over all the rest? That's how it is nowadays. People may work with you for a time being, but they always have an ulterior motive to screw you over, just to, use others as a stepping stone. Okay? That's people are in survival mode nowadays. Because that's all they got. Okay? That's all they got. All right? And that's all I got. So I hope that this was an edifying camp unto the body and to those that are new coming in, listening and learning with all sincerity. Slaga is getting dark, but I would like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Ba'ath Dabadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations, okay? See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala, Wa Abababal, Shalawam, Barakatham.